she pours out the chippies right as I start my video, so I can't run over and grab a handful. And now I'm getting the ha-ha look. Okay. Watch it, Suze. I'll turn the camera on you. She's eating and making the yum face. Now, I am going to show everybody how I made the Spellbook. So my niece made a sort of a pinky version. My nephew made a blue version. These aren't the ones the children made. I remade them so we can use things that we've got in the shop. But I'm hoping to encourage everybody to be able to make these with things that you have at home. But I have remade them, so if there's something you particularly like, you can go, oh, I like that, I'm going to get it. It is all available on the website. If you type in Spellbook, all one word, when you go to the website, you'll be able to find all the bits and pieces I used. So I'm going to turn the camera around and I'm going to discuss it for a while, and then I'm going to show step 1 today and leave it to dry, and we'll do a different step each day for a few days because drying time's important. And there's nothing worse in a live, I've found, than sitting there while someone's holding the heat gun and talking. So I'll turn the camera around. Here we are. Okay. Oh, the kidlets are just coming back inside again. Hang on, my phone's just decided. There it is. Okay. So I've made 2 spell books, as I mentioned, but they don't have to be a spell book. Here's a bluish one and here's a pinkish one. You could do these on a book. These are just a book that I picked up from Kmart. They're about $4, maybe $5, sometimes $2 if they're clearing them out. You could have any book. It does not matter what's on the cover because we're going to completely cover it, but it does matter that it's a really hard book. You don't want one of those ones that's flexible, and you don't want a ring-bound spine. You could do this on a canvas as well. So what we've done is I've chosen a castle to go in the corner, hence the kids called it a spell book. So I have made these resin castles. If people want a castle as well, we've got them on the website. When you type in Spellbook, they'll show up. All they are is you have a mould, you pour some resin into it, and it sets. Now, here's a handy thing. If you have ever been to SeaWorld or somewhere like that, Suze, could you please pass me, and I'll show people what I mean live, could you pass me the any of the resin, yeah, that one will do. My mum's fridge is full of resin pieces. If you were to go and raid the fridge magnet section and say you wanted a seahorse on your spell book, that would work as well, and you could make it an under the sea book instead. So if you've been to SeaWorld and you've got a fridge magnet with SeaWorld and a dolphin written on it, you could use that on the front of your book or on your canvas, and then you could have your favourite photo of you or your child or somebody else at SeaWorld on a fantastic canvas. Movie World, any place that you've been that you've managed to pick up a fridge magnet with a logo, you could make this, which I thought was a really handy thought when I was doing this the other day. So step 1, what we're going to need is your book. I'm going to do 2 here, so that's going to be a bit of fun. Now, who recognises that flower there? Have we got any Lavinia fans watching? That flower there, oh, my nephew's come over to watch and he's so excited. That flower there is just the Lavinia stencil. These flowers here are just, whoops, I've managed to put something on the packaging, hang on. This is a packet of Prima flowers. We pull these flowers apart, all of them. So out of one packet like this, it's $13.95. You'll probably get 6 or 8 books because every single one of those flowers we break down. So out of that, you'll get 3 flowers out of the one flower. If you want to do the more steampunk look, oh, thank you, Suzanne. She's put the link in there for us for the castle. If you want to do the more steampunk look with all of these cogs, if you've got any cogs lying around at home, you could use them. Otherwise, here we are. I use these ones by Prima, these metal cogs. They will work. And then for some contrast, I picked out these metal numbers. So if you've happened to have, oh, don't go and raid the number off your mailbox because then the delivery man won't know where to deliver your things. But these are just metal numbers that I use. So as you can see, we popped some cogs in, we popped some metal numbers in, and this is a stencil and some cheapy bling. So on here we have the flowers. I popped the numbers in for some contrast. This is the stencil, which we're about to do in step 1. And see these lines here of texture? Who can recognise what they are? Anybody? Look at this. It is just a bit of thick ribbon. You could, I chose the ribbon because see how it gave the texture? If you don't have ribbon, you could chop down bits of thick cardboard. The original class that I did this lovely class with the people from Prima, and we tore up canvas strips, like painting canvas strips. So I didn't have a canvas to tear up, so I substituted in this ribbon. So anything you see is limited by your imagination. If you don't have the product, you can just think about it and use something else. So first step is to take your book from Kmart or Big W or your canvas, whatever it is you would like to do this project onto. And then lose your flower. There it is. So we're just going to put our flower in the top corner there, and we're going to pick up some texture paste. I'm just using the texture paste by Ranger. Because you are going to paint over this in black, you could use any texture paste in your collection. If you've got a ghastly green texture paste which you bought for a project which you think you'll never use again, perfect, use it. Because it's going to get painted over, the original colour will never, ever, ever show up. So all you're going to do, any stencil in your collection will do this trick. All you're going to do is you're going to put the texture paste on like so. And my little nephew who's watching, he did this on his spell book. What texture paste, what stencil did we use on your one, Casimir? You want to go get your spell book and we'll see? Okay. He's going to get his spell book so we can see. Now, if you would like to, you can go over around the edges a little bit so you have a little bit of an outline to your flower. It doesn't matter. Even if you make a huge mess, trust me, it doesn't matter. So we're going to lift it away like so. And I'll hand that to my sister to go wash. Thank you, handy assistant. So as you can see, we have the flower there. Now on the back of the book, you can turn it over and we want some more texture on the back. On this one, I used 2 big flourish stencils. I forgot to bring them up with me. So on this one, I'm going to, now you can't turn it over or you will squish your flower. I'm going to open it out. So in this instance, I am just going to do a few flourishes off this stencil. So there we are. So just using the texture paste through the holes. This is just using, you can do it with a credit card or a spatula. So we have a flourish there. I'm going to do another flourish down here. Now on the back you want to keep your project relatively flat because this is the bit that's going to sit down on the table all the time. So all I'm going to do on the back is some stenciling. I won't be sticking bling. Oh, you can't find it, that's okay. So we won't be sticking bling on the back. Now I want to do another flourish there. It is overlapping the other flourishes. Don't worry about it as long as you don't press down on it. It won't squash the flourishes. And if it does, it doesn't matter. It just adds to the texture. So there we are. We have another flourish there. See how it squished it down? Don't worry about it. Just scrape it away. Nobody will know. So look, we're going to do some more. Hello, Lee. Hello, Barbara. For anybody who's just joined us, this is the start of our spell book. I'm going to do it in a series of stages so we can have drying times between each one. And that is our back cover. So all we do now is put that aside to dry. I am going to do a second one. I'll do it live because I'm going to do a male steampunky type one and I'm going to do a feminine girly flowery type one. So on the steampunky one, I would like to put some cogs. So this is just a cog stencil. This one we don't have for sale. I think I've had this stencil for about 10 years, I think. So if you have a cogs die, there's no reason you couldn't cut your cogs die out and use that as a stencil. I've done that a few times, just make your own stencil. So in this top corner here, we're just going to put some stencil paste and we'll leave our cogs to dry. And just to be different on the back of this one, I decided, I've not done this before, but I thought, you know what? Let's see how it looks. I'm going to do bricks. Let's see how this looks. I've never done it before, but I think in my mind this is going to look awesome. So all you do is put down some texture paste, and it's probably going to take a lot of texture paste because there's a lot of bricks there. So yeah, this is going to look fantastic. Any stencil you have in your collection, use. My niece chose one on hers, which was a floral one that I thought, oh, I'd never use that one, but you know what? It looked fantastic. So all we need to do now is roughly line our bricks up again. As long as I don't press, ouch. Okay, Casimir, could you please pick up the texture paste, which I just spilled all over the floor? Thank you. I think it's bounced over to your side of the table. Oh, thank you. Oh, he's got it for me. There you go. Thankfully, none came out of the container. That was almost a disaster. Thank you for picking that up. There we are. A little bit of overlap. At the end, when we paint it black, you would never know. And so I'm going to line some bricks up. A bit more stencil paste there. If you have a bit uneven, doesn't matter. That's the beauty of handmade. And over here, if I just line them up, bit more texture paste. Now this will probably, or if I set it outside in this warm weather we've been having, this would probably be dry in about 10 minutes. Can you shake that to Mummy, please, sweetie? Yeah. In about 10 minutes. So the next step will be to leave them to dry and then paint the entire bit with black gesso. If you don't have black gesso, you could probably get away with black paint. Black gesso, if you do have it though, is just that it's got that little bit of more grittiness to it that will grab our paints and things that we're going to use later. So I'm going to stop there. What I will do is when it has dried, I'll paint both of them completely black, and we'll do another step tomorrow to show everybody the next step in making our castle book. Although, one moment, there is one more step now. I've just realised. See, on this one, I've got my cogs up here. See how we've got this really cool texture down through there? In order to get that texture, we just pick up a bit of texture paste and you can use your finger if you want to, or you can use your stencil. And a little bit down there as well. And I do believe this is important. If you forget this, no biggie, you can do it at the end and then just go over it with the black gesso again. But what you can also do, if you don't like a boring spine, you can do exactly the same down the spine. At the moment, it just looks rather boring, but trust me, when this is painted and then you put a bit of the wax or paint on it that we're going to use, that texture stands out a mile. Oh, actually, you can see how nicely it stands out because it was that demo there. See that texture? That is purely from splattering, as I just did with the texture paste. There we are. Okay, hello Beverly, hello Lillian. Any questions? I better wait a moment because I think we are a minute or two behind with our delays. Hopefully, I've had a few people order things from the website for the Spellbook, so hopefully a few of you are making this at home. Okay, no questions just yet. If there are any questions, ask away in the comments and I will answer them. In a moment, I'm going to go and upload this to YouTube. I've just started a YouTube channel, which I'll start putting our videos onto. I'm not very tech savvy, but I'm learning. Hopefully catch some of you soon. Bye.